Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We are looking forward to a very exciting discussion. As everyone is getting comfortable with the Zoom platform, this would actually be a great time to test out your chat and Q&A functionality and get familiar with those features. Just to give you guys a little heads up, we've had a few issues with the chat functionality. So if you do have any issues during the presentation, please just go ahead and utilize the Q&A. And please type any questions you have in the Q&A section, and we'll be sure to answer as many of those as possible throughout the webinar today. We are very excited and happy to highlight our partnership with Cornerstone today. We will explore how Verified First integration on Cornerstone's comprehensive platform benefits your organization. Before we dive in, we just have a few quick housekeeping items. This session is being recorded, and we'll be sending out a copy of that recording after the webinar. This session is, with that, again, we ask that you please share the copy of the webinar with any of those colleagues or associates that were not able to attend today that may find some benefit from this. And also, if you have any questions, we will be providing our contact information on the last slide. So you can reach out to Verified First with any questions. And again, please utilize that Q&A. And ask as many questions as you'd like throughout the presentation. Okay, so just to go over our agenda for today, we're going to take a look at how screening impacts your organization, automation and integrating your tech stack, be consistent with your screening, comply with state and federal laws, and a live demo of the Cornerstone Verified First integration.
Jenny, I think you need to share your screen.
Are you not able to see it?
Not seeing it right now.
Okay, let me reshare. Thank you so much, Cody.
Gotcha.
I'm showing I'm sharing it, so let me do reshare. Let me know if you guys can see it this time. So thank you guys.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So again, just to highlight the agenda again, how screening impacts your organization, automation and integrating your tech stack, being consistent with screening, complying with state and federal laws, and again, we'll do a live demo of the Cornerstone Verified First integration. And now I'm going to quickly go through and we are going to introduce our host for today's presentation. Thank you again for joining us. Again, we are very glad everyone can make it today. Just want to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Jenny Johnson, and I'm the Senior Partner Manager at Verified First that manages the Cornerstone Partnership. Joining me today is Tim Ballas, who is an Alliances Manager at Cornerstone. Also joining from Cornerstone is Madison Farley, who's another Alliances Manager. And finally, we have Cody Holmes, who is a Sales Engineer here at Verified First that will be leading our demo today. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having us, Jenny. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Let's go ahead and we will get started. Okay, so just wanted to start by giving a little high-level overview of who Verified First is. VF is a fast-growing tech company. We're on a mission to deliver cutting-edge HR technology that transforms the way your organization does background screening. So Verified First offers a variety of services, including background screening, drug testing, I-9 E-Verify, employment and education verifications. We offer a patented technology which integrates with over 130 cloud-based HR platforms, including Cornerstone, which we will be demoing here shortly. Oh, yeah, went too fast. So to go ahead and dive in, we're going to talk a little bit about how screening impacts your organization. So according to Aptitude Research, which is a leading human capital management research and advisory firm, there are really unique ways that screening impacts your organization. Our first statistic here, as you can see, that organizations using background screening are 2 times more likely to improve the quality of hires. This ties to the fact that you want to make sure that you're getting the best of the best with your candidates. And to do that, you want to make sure that the candidate you select is the right fit for your role. You want to know as much about your candidate that will ultimately improves that quality of hire. Our second point here is that organizations using background screening are 3 times more likely to improve the time to fill. This is an important KPI we see over and over again. And I think there's a misconception when it comes to background screening that adding that to the process might slow things down. But hiring in reality helps eliminate the guesswork. So hiring managers can leverage the background checks to hire with confidence and in turn improve that time to fill. This really helps nowadays when it comes to competing for talent. Process is key, which is something we're going to get a little bit more into about having a consistent process throughout your organization a little bit later in the presentation. So it's not just about implementing background screening policy, but it's also how you implement it. And I'm talking about integrating the HR platform, which is why having that integration with Cornerstone is so key to that success in improving that onboarding process. And then the last point I want to bring up today is that organizations using background screening are 2 times more likely to improve recruiter satisfaction. Recruiters have a lot going on and they have a lot of responsibility and pressure, which is part of obviously the package of being a recruiter, but having a strong, seamless hiring onboarding process in place can actually, where they can actually focus on the candidates and less on worrying about that background check, and that experience helps build that relationship. So instead of worrying, about the process, it helps them be able to focus more on that candidate to ensure that they're having a positive experience throughout that process. This is something that Verified First and Cornerstone took into consideration when deciding to partner. So really, in a nutshell, we want to be able to leverage that technology to help streamline the background check process, which is going to improve the turnaround time and then create more time for recruiters and HR and TA to really focus on other tasks that they need to complete.
Yeah, I mean, Jenny, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that these are very important metrics to understand. So, I really appreciate you sharing this. I think the slide is very powerful and impactful. So, yeah, thank you. This is good stuff.
No, and I love highlighting this one because, like I said, I think people think of a background check and they do think it's going to slow down the process, where really can help, improve that need. And you want to make sure you get the right candidate because it is a hiring, as you know, that process in itself can take quite a bit of time and cost quite a lot of money, which we're going to dig a little bit more into now. Sorry, my deck likes to. Okay, so a little bit more in how screening impacts your organization. So it can really help improve the retention and quality of employees, that candidate experience, engagement, and then also the accuracy, which we talked a little bit about in the previous slide. Having that integration is going to really streamline that process in onboarding your candidates in a timely manner. And it's going to help reduce data entry, which we will see when Cody leads the demo here shortly of how the information is going to pre-populate over from the Cornerstone platform. And I won't read every bullet point on there. Like I said, we'll be sharing this deck after the presentation as well. Okay. So wanted to get a little bit more into the cost of a bad hire. As you can see here, the average cost to bring on a candidate nowadays is roughly a little over $4,100. And that's just one cost. If you take in consideration, if you hire someone and it turns out to be they turn out to be not a good fit for that position, then it can take, roughly 6 to 9 months to replace that. And that's when you're paying that salary, for those 6 to 9 months as well. So really to kind of put things in perspective, it shows it can cost, for an employee making $60,000 a year, recruiting and training costs, roughly it's $30,000 to $45,000. So you want to make sure that you're making that right fit initially from the get-go, because the time and effort from training and bringing someone on, that cost can be quite exorbitant. Okay, so why bad things happen to good people? I love that saying. So as you can see here, there's roughly 39% of organizations right now that are not screening for every role. And I apologize, I'm having a little technology Snafu, so be patient with me for 1 second. Okay. So according to Aptitude Research, 39% of organizations are not screening for every candidate for roles at their organization. So again, this comes to why knowing matters, that you're bringing on and that you can trust that information that candidate is providing. So by conducting that background check, you want to make sure your organization is not missing any relevant information that could be really revealing about that candidate's background. So now more than ever, guidelines are continuing to evolve and to change, and requirements are shifting as well. So it really creates that need to conduct a thorough background check. So not only do you want to create a safe environment for your employees, but you also want to avoid any potential litigation and legal challenges as well. And if you're not screening every employee, you're definitely opening yourself up for potential litigation. You want to make sure that the policies you have are company-wide across the board. So as we talked earlier, bringing on that candidate can be time consuming and costly. So you want to make sure you're having that confidence in that candidate that you're hiring initially.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this, and like when I saw this at first, I couldn't believe the number. Like that is a surprising number, 39%. It really does make you think. I think, just how are these organizations ensuring, they are hiring the right person? So you look at today's workplace with everything going on with inflation and everything, identifying the right candidates, I feel, is more important than ever, especially for companies that are going through a big transition. Because, I mean, you get most of these companies, you don't get many shots of this. If you end up, with the wrong hire or, not doing your due diligence, like I said, there could be some very consequential long-term ramifications, when you hire someone that is, call it a swing and a miss. And so, that is a staggering statistic right there. So thank you for sharing.
No, definitely. Okay, now let's talk about the importance of automating, integrating your tech stack. So despite only about 50% of organizations that are really measuring the ROI of their investment, the true challenge revealed in last year's research was a challenge of integration. There are so many platforms out there, and having them integrate with your screening solution is key. Sorry, I have a little bit of a delay on what I'm seeing for what you guys are seeing, so thank you for being patient with me. Some additional research from Aptitude Research found that 1 in 3 companies use more than 10 different recruitment solutions, which I found amazing to hear that. That's just a lot to manage. And with all the technological advancements and solutions that are available today, given that this research was from last year, the recruitment solutions being used may have increased substantially over that number. With the help of HR technology solutions, vetting candidates is much easier and streamlines the hiring process. However, we recognize that a lot has changed within the last year, especially with organizational needs. And we'd be interested in hearing from each of you on what technology solutions you're considering replacing. So I'm going to launch a quick poll, and if you can let us know what technology your organization may be looking at replacing, or be interested in, please select all that apply. There's going to be a couple. There may be a couple that you guys are currently looking at. Give me 1 second, and I will launch. Poll question. It should be popping up any minute, and then I will leave that up for about a minute for folks to go ahead and respond to, and then I will share the results. Can everybody see the poll question okay on your end?
You're in.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll give it about 30 more seconds for folks to select their response. I'm going to go ahead, I'll give it 10 more seconds and end the poll. So if you haven't had a chance to respond and want to do so.
Jenny, there are, I believe there are a few people in here that cannot make a choice on here because they're not in a decision-making position.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and if, just because you cannot make that decision, if it's something your organization may be interested in looking at, please feel free if you'd like to respond as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the polls, and then I will share the results. So as you can see on here, we have some folks looking at potentially replacing their ATS. We have some looking at background screening, I-9 E-Verify, LMS, and then no replacements. All right. Stop sharing that and get back into the presentation. Okay. So now we're going to talk about why it's important to be consistent with your screening, and I'm going to try to go ahead and get through this pretty quickly so we have time for as much time for our demo, because I want to be able to focus on that. Okay, so pre-employment background screening must be handled, obviously, as we talked about, with consistency throughout the organization to help. This will help eliminate any potential litigation. It doesn't mean that you have to run the same checks on all positions. We recommend creating screening packages based on roles. So help standardize the process. For instance, you may have folks outside of HR or talent acquisition that may be running background checks. So having those screening packages based on roles, will mean you're being consistent throughout for positions within that role. For instance, obviously we know someone from marketing or finance are going to have different background checks that need to be run versus someone from an entry level to an executive role. So again, to help with that consistency, we suggest that having a written company-wide policy for background screening, and to make it known that you screen and why that's important, and why you have that policy in place. And again, having those packages based on those roles will create consistency as well. Okay, now complying with federal and state laws. Again, I'm going to go over this part pretty quickly because we're going to get in a little bit about this during the demo. As we know, legislation is constantly changing both on the state and federal level, so it's crucial to know what's going on when it comes to background screening. You want to make sure you're presenting the correct compliance and disclosure forms to your candidates throughout the process. And this is going to be determined based on where a candidate lives and also where they're working. So again, our recommendation is to have a background screening provider that you can trust, one that will be keeping you up to date on any compliance updates, and will help in terms of being able to present the correct forms to your candidates during the hiring process. And we're going to go, and I'm going to highlight this is, again, just talking about building that compliance strategy, which I can touch a little bit on the time. So I'm going to make sure we have enough time to do the demo. So I'm going to stop sharing, Cody, so you can go ahead and share your screen. Awesome.
There we go. Everybody can see my screen okay, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, great. Just really quick, I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can, as I have a limited amount of time here, but the extension installation is quick and easy. Everybody's used to integrations taking weeks or months. This will actually take minutes, so it's very nice to be able to get things up and running that way. We're going to send a link to you to this page. You simply click on the browser that you want to install that in. It will take you to that browser's web store, and you would just click add to whatever browser that is. It's going to download and install. And then when you're in Cornerstone, underneath the candidate profile, you'll have a little screen with Verified First button, as well as this little VF icon up in the browser extension bar. This is nice as it does open and close the extension, so you can kind of see where things are at in process and maybe what you need to do as far as what the things that need your review or action on your dashboard there. It does give you the different workflow folders that you can click through and see where your applicants are at in process here as well. And then the screen with Verified First button is where you're going to place that order from. So underneath that candidate profile, when I click on that, it's going to bring over my candidate information, so I'm not having to retype everything. All I may have to do is choose the package that I want to run, and here I'm just going to keep things simple and run a new hire package. I'm going to click Send Invite. This pops up because I do run HankMess an awful lot, but generally this is just a way to ensure that you're not screening more than you need to. It's going to let you know that you've already run a screen on this candidate within the last 30 to 365 days, and this is customizable to your liking there. I can send the invitation off via email or via text message. If I'm going to text message that out, I need to be compliant with the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. This simply means you have your candidate's permission to send them a text message. That's generally gathered on an application or maybe in an offer letter. But we generally recommend getting with your legal team just to make that information go in a place that makes the most sense for your company there. I'm just going to do things on screen here with the email. The last thing is permissible purpose. You're just stating that you're using the background check system the way that it's intended to be used, and then you're going to click send. What we're going to see happen at this point is the button will update to waiting on applicant. This is just so anybody using the system along with you will know, hey, somebody's already doing this. They can hover over that and see that that was started today. So they're not duplicating efforts there. We have the ability to resend or withdraw that invite from here as well. The candidate will then, of course, get a text message or an email letting them know that they have some information to complete. We're going to brand this with a business logo here. They have a link to begin and a certain number of days to get things completed in. They're just going to go ahead and click to begin, and that's going to open up the packet that they need to run through. Okay, and that packet, again, is mobile friendly. If they are in a mobile device, it will be formatted to fit that mobile device. So they'll go ahead and click Get Started. When they get to the first page of this, and I'll go back to full screen, but I just kind of wanted to show that they're not going to have to zoom in or out and pinch and drag things around. But here on the electronic signature consent page, they are going to say, I'm okay signing things electronically, provide that electronic signature, and then a way to get back into this packet should they leave for any reason at all. This is generally the last four of their social security number or any 4-digit number they can easily remember. The next page is a compliance page. It's for the state and city notices. So on the order form, it would have asked for the state where the employment is located. If that is different than their state of residency, what happens here is this page will dynamically update this packet with any additional disclosure and authorization forms that may be required. You don't have to think about that. It just automatically happens for you. The main three that always go out are the ones that I'm going to show here today. I have the disclosure regarding the background investigation. This is essentially the, hey, we're going to run a background check on you page. They'll state that they've received, read through, and understand that, and they can check this box if they'd like a copy of the report sent to them. That will go out with a secure link to them and at no additional cost to your business. The FCRA summary of rights is another I've received, read through, and understand this page here, so they'll check that. And the acknowledgement and authorization, they'll go ahead and agree to this. This is essentially the candidate stating that they are aware of and okay with you running that background check on them. From here, anything that did not come across from Cornerstone, they can simply add in. So that might be their middle name, either generation, so junior, senior, first, second, third, fourth, social security number, and they're going to confirm that. Gender, if you're running a state-specific search, some states are requiring a gender now, a date of birth. As we can see, the email and the phone number came across. We have added a driver's license number here as an additional identifier for those states that have redacted the date of birth as an identifier when we're pulling records there. So driver's license number will help with that. Address will automatically come across as well if it was in Cornerstone, so you're not having to worry about that, or they're not having to worry about that. And then from here, any additional screens that they may be running or that you may be running will have some additional pages for the candidate to fill out. But when they get to the end of the packet, they'll be asked to just look over everything, make sure that everything is correct. They can correct it if they catch a mistake with the little pencil icon. Otherwise, they will submit that and those screens will start running. You will get a notification letting you know the candidate has completed the packet. And at this point, all we're doing is waiting for everything to come back. When that report does come back, as the client, you will get a notification letting you know that the file for the candidate is complete or it's complete and has been flagged, and that'll be right in the subject line of the email. And when everything is done, of course, the button will update to report complete. We can see that it's pending now. That'll say complete here in just a moment. But in the candidate profile, well, in the email that you receive stating that it's complete, there will be a link that brings you back into the candidate profile as well. But the little button here that says clear, maybe an orange color and say review, that is just an additional flag letting you know that something came up on the report. But you can simply click on view report, and that opens up right here in Cornerstone as well. And I'll zoom in just a little bit. This report is going to show that we ran that on behalf of your business, the candidate's information, and then of course the screens that we've run will be in line here. After reviewing the report, we do have that adjudication process built into the system here as well. The adjudication process is simply whether you're going to move forward with them or not. So you can approve them, and what that does is it will move them from that ready for review status to the approved folder here. Or if you need to, if there's something on the report that may cause you to not be able to move forward with them, we have the pre-adverse and adverse action built in here as well. Pre-adverse action will send a notification to the candidate, letting them know something came up on the report which may not allow you to move forward with them. Give them a copy of their rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and a copy of the report, as well as a dispute resolution process. If they see something they don't agree with, they have the right to dispute that, and we'll help them out there. If we find in their favor, of course, we're going to make sure that you're aware of that so you can re-review things. But most of the time, the candidate is going to know something is there. They just let that 5 business days go by, and then it will go into an adverse action status. And again, you'll receive a notification for that, letting you know that you can then take adverse action. And we have that in here as well. I always recommend email for those. You can withdraw a job offer based on the outcome of the background check here and the adverse action process. Or if you haven't made an offer, there's one for that as well. You're simply going to choose that. You can add additional documentation to the packet that goes out, as well as edit that cover letter. Double check the email address, state that you're compliant with local, state, and federal laws and regulations, and take that adverse action. This will go ahead and just let that candidate know that you're not moving forward with them. It will date and timestamp everything in the system as well. And, we do that for compliance reasons. So if you ever in any kind of an audit, we have you covered for that too. So that is a very quick run through of the Verified First system. And if there are any questions, please do feel free to put those in the chat functionality, and we will make sure that we get to those. And with that being said, Jenny, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it very much.
You betcha.
All right. So let me reshare my screen. And we will continue. Can everyone see my screen okay again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to go ahead. I think we covered pretty much everything in the slide above. So Tim and Madison, I'm going to let you speak to the next few slides.
Certainly. Thank you, Jenny. So first off, thank you to everyone for joining. On the Cornerstone side, right, obviously, Cody did a fantastic job just kind of going through the integration to our recruiting platform and understanding how we can work together on our platform. But I really wanted to provide a holistic view in terms of what Cornerstone solutions can completely encapsulate. So I wanted to share, we've done a little bit of a rebranding at the company, and so our suite of services under the Cornerstone umbrella is now called Cornerstone Galaxy. And Cornerstone Galaxy is what we call the complete AI-powered workforce agility platform that helps you build high-performing, future-ready people and organizations with a holistic and interconnected solution. So you can see here we have a big, kind of looks like a donut, right? And so like we have like there's a middle layer and we have obviously the outside. So I want to break down a little bit as to what our products are, what our solutions are, because we get a lot of questions that kind of come up a little bit in terms of, yes, especially with Verified First customers, if they want to, integrate with us on the recruiting platform, then you have a solution that can take care of your onboarding, and, e-verify and all those things, background screens. And sometimes, you're probably wondering, okay, they're onboarded now, they're hired, what's next, right? And so, that's where we can, hopefully encapsulate a little bit more about what else we can do that might give your customers, probably a little more value. So if you want to head to the next slide. And what's really great about our products is that we can really fill any gap that you have. So let's dive a little bit into the different components that make up Galaxy. So we'll start at the very top, third outer section called Cornerstone Learn. Cornerstone Learn is our learning management solution. That's where you can develop your people with both assigned and self-directed learning. We can allow you to close compliance gaps, which is something that we do a very good job with. We can rapidly upskill and onboard your people to the dream jobs of their choice. And this can also extend beyond your organization to include things, basically your entire talent supply chain. We can do new employees, we can do customers, partners, people that you work with outside of your organization. We can even do trainings for them. So in the end, our solution can really help you drive business outcomes. We can decrease L&D costs, drive more employee engagement, and also, better retention as well. And so our learning platform, like I said, goes over our learning management, learning expertise, our learning experience platforms, extended enterprise, as well as our other product called Cornerstone Guide, which can be a little bit of a virtual chatbot that can help you with some L&D type of offerings. And so the next third is what we call Cornerstone Elevate. And that's where, our recruiting product is, which obviously partners and works very well with Verified First. But there's other sections in there, such as performance management, succession planning, and our talent marketplace. And so this section, really enables your managers to drive continuous performance with our performance management tool, succession planning, like I mentioned before. We can empower individuals to really own their growth. We can do self-directed career pathing, which that can also be helped through the Cornerstone Talent Marketplace. And then we can obviously allow you to retain and grow your high performers and match them to the right roles appropriately, which is also something that we've done for a very long time. And we can really help out with, those types of situations as well. The other third big section is Cornerstone Transform. And that is where, we get into areas where we're going to kind of help navigate your uncertainty at your company. Talent Intelligence provides, a really big comprehensive view into your organization's capabilities. It can include proactive guidance from some of our industry leading experts, help you plan with, for your future with some, really sound advice and some outcomes that, could maybe, really work in your favor. And then the areas in the middle, like if this was like a jelly filled donut, this would be considered the jelly, right? So the Cornerstone content, we have our own content studio, which is fantastic. We build our own content that we can also supply. But in addition to that, when we're powered by our premium learning content, we also do robust content curation. We have a lot of really good creation tools. And then we also have an enormous ecosystem of over 200 content partners that also get included with our content. You can be assured that, your teams are going to be future ready. They're going to drive a more effective use with our learning content that can be very budget conscious, and a very more narrowed learning strategy as well. That is where we can really also really provide a lot of value, just because we work across all different kinds of verticals, provide a lot of different really good specific content that is needed for very specific industries, things like that. So that's also out there as well. And then that is all driven, like I said, by our skills ontology, which is obviously powered by AI with our workforce data. So that's like really the engine that drives everything. And then you're going to see like a little dotted line on the outside of this big circle. And that is what we call Cornerstone Extend. And that is where companies like Verified First and our enormous partner ecosystem, that's where we can be as flexible and as scalable as you want, where we can integrate with a lot of these amazing partners to really provide a comprehensive offering and a best-in-breed solution with how you guys are handling I-9s, background checks, verifications, and where we can kind of come in and be fully integrated with those solutions, as well as many other different partners, right? HCM solutions, ERP platforms, anything that you can think of, business productivity tools, even like companies like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and WebEx and all of those things, like to provide a more comprehensive experience. That's where we really put the cherry on top. And that's where we can provide just an incredible amount of value. And I think that could really help, obviously, with a lot of customers that are with Verified First, as well as many others that we can help provide within the landscape. So, Jenny, that is it for me. I will turn it back over to you to wrap up.
Thank you very, very much. So just now that we've talked about different services and seen how it works within the demo, just wanted to share a few more of the benefits of the Verified First solution. One being, again, our integration, having no integration fees and being able to download the browser extension within minutes. And then once in there, you never have to leave the Cornerstone platform when initiating a background check or viewing the completed report. Our built-in compliance, making sure based on where that candidate lives or works that they're getting presented the correct compliance forms so that you are in compliance with those state and federal laws. Also having that create an adverse action option in there as well. And the ease of use, again, the candidate status updates that Cody highlighted throughout the demo, so you know exactly where that candidate is in the process. Having that text functionality, being able to customize packages and add a la carte services as needed as well. And again, finally, our support. VF has a 98% client satisfaction rate, which is the result of our wonderful client support team. So wanted to share that. And then really, that is about all we have for you guys today. I know there was a lot of information. Again, we will be sharing a copy of the deck with you. We do ask before you leave, again, we want to thank everyone who's able to join today. Before you leave, we hope everyone can stick around. We are going to do a quick post-webinar survey that's going to pop up as soon as I end the webinar today. We'd love to get your feedback on what you thought about today's webinar. If there's anything we can do going forward to improve upon that, or that you didn't see that you would like to see. And again, if we did not get to your questions, we will certainly follow up with you, but please feel free to reach out and we will have one of our experts reach out with to answer any of those questions and provide information. So again, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Madison and Tim, so much. We so value and appreciate our partnership with Cornerstone. And thank you guys for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.